somber tale of family tragedy, we delve into the complexities of a case that shook a community. This true crime story centers around the unfortunate events involving a man named Kevin Gonyea, who, along with his, against all expectations, committed an unimaginable act, taking the life of his own grandmother. As we explore the details of this heartbreaking incident, our aim is to approach the subject matter with the utmost sensitivity and respect for the victims involved. The circumstances surrounding the crime unveil a web of emotions, unraveling the intricacies of family dynamics, mental health, and the unexpected turns that life can take. Throughout this narrative, our purpose is not to sensationalize the events, but to shed light on the broader implications and the profound impact such incidents can have on everyone involved. Join us in this exploration of the human experience as we navigate through the facts, emotions, and consequences surrounding this tragic event. This is the diabolical story of Kevin Gonyea. Let's begin, shall we? The story. In 2017, a New York man was charged with strangling his 95-year-old grandmother inside the rural upstate home they shared. The Washington County Sheriff's Office said that then 50-year-old Kevin Gonyea was charged with second-degree murder in the death of Leona Twiss. Police said Gonyea and his then 35-year-old wife, Melissa, reported finding Twiss dead in the family's home in the town of Fort Anne, 55 miles, 88 kilometers, northeast of the capital city. Officials said an autopsy determined Twiss had been strangled with a towel. Police said Melissa Gonyea was charged with hindering prosecution and tampering with evidence because she disposed of the towel. Both the husband and wife were being held in the county jail for some time. Fast forward to 2018 during the trial, Kevin Gonyea said out loud in Washington County Court that he strangled his grandmother, a 95-year-old woman who raised him, to death with a towel last July inside her Fort Anne home. Gonyea took a plea deal, admitting guilt in exchange for a sentence of 15 years to life in prison. He was initially charged with second-degree murder, hindering prosecution, and tampering with physical evidence. This was a mercy killing, said Greg Teresi, defense attorney. This was a man who saw his grandmother deteriorating, Alzheimer's and dementia. At the end of the day, he did it because legitimately didn't want to see his grandmother suffer. Certainly anyone who's had a loved one who suffered with the trials and tribulations of the golden years can understand it's difficult to watch someone you care about suffer, Teresi said. Mr. Gonyea will be available for testimony if requested in any open matter, Washington County Judge Kelly McKeon said. Should Gonyea not cooperate as agreed, McKeon warned him that he faced up to 25 life. Washington County District Attorney Tony Jordan said he could not discuss that aspect of the case as of Friday, or what Gonyea's interview with police yielded earlier in the week. Gonyea and his wife Melissa had moved from Florida to live with and take care of Twiss. Back in November 2017, Melissa pleaded guilty to hindering prosecution, tampering with evidence, and offering false instrument charges in exchange for testimony against her husband. In court, Gonyea told the judge he suffers from bipolar disorder and was on medication for it at the time of the crime. Gonyea also pleaded guilty to filing a false Social Security claim with his wife. Last year, in 2022, an appellate attorney told the state's second-highest court last year that a Washington County man convicted of strangling his 95-year-old grandmother in 2017 received an ineffective trial defense before he pleaded guilty to a second-degree murder charge. Kevin Gonyea is serving 15 years to life in prison at medium-security Washington Correctional Facility in Comstock for killing his grandmother, Leona Twiss, whom he strangled using a towel in their home on July 9, 2017, on Twiss Road in Fort Anne. Gonyea's appeal attorney, the Chatham-based Marlene Tudzinski, questioned the decision of her client's former attorney to allow Gonyea to give a deposition to Washington County prosecutors 2 days before pleading guilty. That was part of their plea agreement that they needed that deposition. I've countered and said, it's just not done that way. You take the plea first, Tudzinski told the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court's Third Department. Justices Michael Lynch, Sharon Aarons, Lisa M. Fisher, Molly Reynolds, Fitzgerald, and Eddie McShawn listened to the appeal. Gonyea, who according to Tudzinski has a 6th-grade education, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for a sentence of 15 years to life in prison. This guy was beaten down by the situation and nobody gave him a hand, Tudzinski said, adding that the situation called for Gonyea's former attorney to, at the very least, look into the possible defense that Gonyea was under an extreme emotional disturbance at the time he strangled his grandmother. Washington County Assistant District Attorney Taylor Fitzsimmons said his office wanted Gonyea's admissions on the record before recommending he receive a 15 to life sentence, a lighter sentence than is typically imposed for second-degree murder, which carries a maximum penalty of 25 years to life. Aarons told Fitzsimmons that prosecutors could have received Gonyea's information after he took the plea and before sentencing. Once the defendant provided the information, she said, the defendant had incriminated himself. That kind of gives credence to what Tuginski is saying about the ineffectiveness of the attorney who would have done to their client, Aarons said. McShawn noted to Fitzsimmons that before giving the deposition, the defendant had made no incriminating statements. So the deposition effectively eliminated any opportunity to vacate his plea. Would you agree with what? McShawn asked the prosecutor. Fitzsimmons argued it was not an ineffective defense. Judges asked why Gonyea's former attorney, who was not identified, did not pursue consulting an expert to evaluate the defendant's medical and mental history. Aarons said it was not pursued in a subsequent motion by another attorney to set aside the verdict. She said it appeared that Gonyea received ineffective counsel from both attorneys. Fitzsimmons disagreed. He said Gonyea's co-defendant incriminated him and that Gonyea and his trial attorney negotiated the best plea bargain they could to get the lightest sentence possible for a murder. I don't think that's ineffective, Fitzsimmons replied. I think based on the hand that he was dealt, the trial attorney got the minimum sentence for his client. Fitzsimmons argued Gonyea could not have made a viable defense that he was suffering from an extreme emotional disturbance. The prosecutor said Gonyea, who was caring for his grandmother in what had become a long-term, stressful situation. The victim, he said, was very ill. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment crime. This was planned. It was thought out in advance, Fitzsimmons said. That's not an extreme emotional disturbance. Gonyea's wife, Melissa, who pleaded guilty to hindering prosecution, served more than 2 years behind bars. She has since been released from prison. In 2018, the Post-Star newspaper in Glens Falls reported that Washington County Judge Kelly McKeon dismissed conspiracy charges against the victim's son, Gordon W. Twiss, and grandson, David M. Twiss, that had alleged they were involved in the planning of the murder. It was not a successful prosecution, Fitzsimmons said. In short, Gonyea argued his defense counsel was ineffective when he pled guilty to murder in 2018 to the court. But the appellate court disagreed, ruling Gonyea's contention was without merit. Thus, he will continue to serve 15 years to life in state prison. And with that, our video comes to an end. I hope you found today's video riveting and chilling. Do not forget to click the button to like and subscribe to our channel down below. Smashing the bell icon will make sure you never miss any of our uploads. Share this video with all your friends, co-workers, and family members. Lastly, please leave your precious opinions and all feedback in the comment section below. Let me know if you liked today's video. Stay safe and alert always. I will see you all again in the next one.